What's up, everybody? I hope you're having an amazing day. It's a nasty one here today. It's raining, it's been rough. But if you followed my channel along for a while, you've realized that I love to vlog and show everybody the awesomeness of kayaking and kayak fishing and the outdoors in general here in good old Pensacola, Florida. You've seen me and Samantha do awesome adventures, our friends, along White Island, Pensacola Beach, Navarre, all up and down the Gulf Coast. You've seen us have some great days and some bad days. You got your life vest? So can you swim it in?
I can swim in. I looked back and I was like, I'm completely underwater.
I mean, like, kayaking here for us, since we're on a kayak about once a week, is just like a lifestyle, just like surfing. It's like in our blood. I've tried to show this as much as possible here on this channel, but today I heard about some bad news. One of my friends had a friend pass away in the kayak fishing world, and it has really kind of struck me. So today I want to set aside some of the vibes that are positive and try to have like a serious moment about some of the really important things around kayaking and kayak fishing.
Strapped on, all that, so that thing should float.
See, I've learned these problems the hard way. I've experienced them, and I want to pass along these things to you guys. These things that I have learned and my friends have learned, and the one day that this almost came back to get us. I hope to help as many people as possible, but even if it helps just one person, I want this video to just kind of sink into you guys' heads of what the realism can happen when you're not doing it right. See, although this sport is an amazing sport, it can also be dangerous. So a few years ago, me and one of my friends decided to go out to the 3 Mile Bridge here in Pensacola. Ready to go. Also, I stole a couch cushion from my seat, check it out. It was a quiet, cool night, about 50 degrees. It's like one of those late October days, and we were thinking it was just gonna be an awesome bite out there on the bridge. And it was. I mean, that bite was like just on fire. I mean, it was just seriously one of those nights that was just amazing. Redfish after redfish, 35 inches, 37 inches, 40 inches. But then I heard that ominous, just screeching help. Just a voice out from underneath the bridge about 100 meters away, and I knew something was wrong.
My seat's still strapped on, all that, so that thing should float. Did you find it? Oh.
I don't see anything else floating. Greg tried to grab a pylon. He was literally just trying to reach out to get one of those big pylons, just kind of hold him in place. And when he did that, his kayak rolled over. I can look around. And by the time I got there, he was hanging onto the piling for dear life. See, when I got there, I reacted kind of how I figured most people would. You'd think he would just be floating there, just bobbing away, and you'd come up, work your way back in the kayak. Can you get back in?
Huh?
Can you get back in?
Yeah, I think I can.
See, he had one of those like automatic inflated like blow up vests, you know, one of those ones with a little cartridge. Well, it didn't auto inflate. Alright. And this is one thing I've always really tried to instill in people, that these auto-inflated vests, see, if you don't check them regularly, sometimes they just don't go off. See, he was just sitting there holding the piling with nowhere to go. His kayak had floated away, and if I wouldn't have been there, that would have been it. A mile away from the boat ramp, underneath the middle of the bridge, late at night, and nobody there to help him. Oh shit, shit.
Can you? I'm trying to get it close to you.
So I got over there real fast with my pedal kayak. I grabbed his kayak and I got it back over to him, and he grabbed onto the side of it. And deep down, my Army training was telling me, don't panic, stay smooth, smooth is fast. What's your plan here?
Can you get like alongside and pull you
really
close to you?
We had a plan. See, we had talked beforehand and we had gone out together quite a few times. And we knew in these type of situations about what we needed to do. Being both military vets and had had some kind of water training before, I had had water survival training and he was retired Navy. So we put that little plan in action. See, I tried to make sure he didn't panic being in the water because drowning is 90% of panicking. You can't let your emotions overcome you. See, this was the full trifecta. We had cold water, we had current, we had dark. Oh man, it was dark. It was dark and scary. And if you've ever been underneath a large bridge at night fishing, you know there's lots of sharks down there too. So like once you hit that dark, murky water, it just comes over you, let me tell you.
There you go. There you go. There you go. You almost there. Kick, kick, kick.
I need to use your kayak for a minute.
Kick, kick, kick,
oh,
kick.
God.
And that's where having a partner really comes into play. See, we were able to work off of each other. We had a plan. We kept each other calm. And the hardest part of the whole thing, because this wasn't over yet, was that we had to get him in the kayak. See, he had those winter clothes on. They got really heavy. I mean, heavy. Once that water got into those clothes, they weighed 1,000,000 pounds. And his Hobie Outback just could not support his weight getting back into the kayak.
You got it.
Wow, that was expensive. That was
Man, at least you're back in the kayak, man. That's all that counts.
That was $500.
Just make sure you stay center. Has the kayak got any water in it?
See, I moved alongside his kayak, grabbed the side of his kayak. I got on the side of my kayak, which I don't think you can really see in this video here. I was able to put my weight on the side of my kayak opposite of his kayak, which allowed his kayak not to roll over while he was trying to slide into it. See, you only get so many chances to get back in the kayak. You start getting tired, and this time he was getting lethargic, right? Lethargic from the cold water, and semi-hypothermia was starting to set in. See, my military training told me that he had X amount of time to get back in the kayak. I was trying to do the math in my head on when his muscles would start to kind of get tired and then when he would go into hypothermia. So we tried to get him back in the kayak over and over and over until finally we got him in there. But his kayak was starting to fill up with water because when you roll, even the good Hobie Outbacks, the water will actually start getting into the kayak. It'll come through the hatch up front, it'll come through the hatch in the middle, and they will start to get a little waterlogged.
All right, I'll look around and see if I can see anything. You got your fishing rods and everything? I thought you were talking about just the GoPro. At least you're back in the yak. That's all. That's the main thing.
So when we got him back in the kayak, it was still tippy. There was about a mile left to go back to the boat ramp, all the way on the Gulf Breeze side of the 3-mile bridge.
The only thing I saw floating after you hit the water was that that tackle box.
That's right. Let's keep going before I get
hypothermia. Yeah, we gotta get you out of the wet clothes.
And I knew that he had been in a really stressful situation, and that's where it gets dangerous. See, those emotions can become almost like a volcano inside you. And even when you're on your way to safety, you can have a meltdown. And I, as a battle buddy, had to make sure he got all the way back to the boat ramp safely. You can't just leave him there and go back to fishing because you don't know if mentally he's able to get there, emotionally, physically. He's had a hard time and he's cold and he's starting to shiver. So I had to get him back there and make sure he was there.
Made it. The rescue mission, we made it.
See, in conclusion on this video is, I know there is a lot of people out there, you guys, that have seen me, you know, on my journey in the kayaking world, kayak fishing. A lot of you guys live on the Gulf Coast. And I hope that just kind of sharing this experience will kind of put over on you the importance of safety. I don't want anybody to think that I don't think safety is important. That's why if you see me in my videos, I'm always wearing my vest. Because I know at least one person in the crowd needs to have a vest on and ready to do some type of rescue procedures at all times.
That was by far probably one of the most nerve-wracking experiences in my kayak fishing career. Greg flipped his kayak underneath a 3-mile bridge at the big hump. And I just heard splash, and I looked behind me and Greg was upside down. GoPro gone, fishing pole's gone, tackle box floating away. If you think that those inflatable life vests are gonna inflate when you need it, think again, because his didn't inflate. If it wasn't for the pole on the 3-mile, the handle on the Outback, and me sitting there beside him, he'd probably be still floating. It was wild. It was wild. I didn't get my GoPro on until he had flipped his kayak back over. I was more worried about him than I was the footage. So,
you know, even though the rules say in most states you can have the vest, you know, within immediate access and you don't have to have it on. Well, I know when I hit that water, I want to be ready to rock and roll. If I have to, you know, hustle over to one of my friends and help them and I get drug into, I've got a vest on. It's just one of my rules. I feel very comfortable in my vest. I can swim in my vest. So I always wear my vest. See, for me, it's a personal protection device that just makes me feel comfortable. I'm more comfortable in the water with it. I have nothing to prove to anybody, and it doesn't make me feel any less like an outdoorsman to not have it on. See, in conclusion, if I can just instill these things to y'all. One, just stay calm. Remember, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I just can't say that enough. Be methodical, disciplined, and take your time, gather yourself before you do anything else. 2, always communicate with your partners and people before you leave. Let them know where you're going, what you're doing, and kind of what time you're gonna be back in case you don't show up. And then with your fishing partners, have like a rescue plan. Know if the current catches you about where you're gonna wind up, because sometimes when these currents get ripping, you can't paddle against them. You've gotta take it somewhere else. So have a couple of different plans with your buddies, and know that the people you're going out with can actually rescue you. See, don't go above your means. Know yourself and what your capabilities are, and both mentally and physically is important. Like, if you're scared of the dark, don't go fishing in the dark. If you're scared of the big water or being in the water and you can't swim, well, then you've got to like really think about that. The next one is know your conditions. Check the weather before you go out. Make sure it's not too cold or you're not dressed properly for it. Know the current and if it's going to change at all. Know the tide. Know how you're going to get back. If you get caught out in the middle of the bay, have a light. Have the proper safety equipment with you to the conditions you're going in. If you're going at night, make sure you got some reflective stuff on your kayak. Make sure you got a light. Make sure you got a cell phone. Make sure you got fringe. If you just put these in place, kayak fishing can be a lot of fun. So I teamed up with the US Coast Guard to make this video, and the guys over at Paddle Responsibly. See, we're just wanting to put out the message that this can be an awesome sport and we can all be safe if we can just think about it and kind of drive home the message. And I hope this helps one person. I hope we can all have a great time on the water. And I hope the next video I make is 100% bright and beautiful. Just comment down below if you've had a problem like this. Maybe share with us one of those scary moments you've had, so the guys that are new to the sport and actually find this video can kind of know what to expect, how you learned from it, so we can make this sport a safer place. I'll see you guys later.